You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 242, How to Manage Anger After Your Breakup. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, breakup coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into Hello, beautiful brave hearts. How are you doing today? I am sending you so much love. I'm actually having a pretty okay day today. I had a lot of things to get done. I finished 2 really big tasks this morning, and now I just got done with lunch and I'm sitting down to record this podcast episode for you. So super fun. I also just wanted to start out by giving you a friendly reminder that we are starting the 5-day How to Get Over Your Ex training completely for free. 5 months of healing in just 5 days. So if you have really loved the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast, if this isn't the first time you're listening and you want to learn how to apply these tools to your life, please come with us. You can sign up at www.dorothyabjohnson.com/5, as in the number 5, day live training. And I'll link that in the show notes for you. It's totally okay if you join us a little bit late. All of the calls will be recorded and are available until June 14th of this year. So you can even binge watch them still and get all of the value if you miss the first couple of days. I'm very excited about it. It's one of my favorite trainings. It's the last time we'll be doing that this year, which, speaking of, we will also be opening up the Get Over Your Ex program. And this is the signature program that all of my clients work with me through. It is a one-to-one program, just in a group container, and I help you get over your ex in 3 months or less and build that bigger and better life. And I just wanted to let you know that doors for that will be closing for the rest of the year, June 14th. So June 14th is kind of the cutoff date for all of this. We will not be offering any more trainings or any, one-to-one work with myself after June, after that June 14th date. So that's kind of the last day that you have to enroll in something where I am an active participant working with you. So I'm really excited. I hope to see some of you soon inside. So let's dive in. All right, we ready? This is a topic that one of my previous clients actually brought up as a great podcast idea. And when she did, I was like, I swear to God, I have an episode on anger, which I talk about forgiveness, and forgiveness is all about letting go of anger and resentment. So we definitely talk about it, but I don't have an episode that is directly tied to how do we manage anger specifically. And it's a very common emotion. It's talked about inside of the Get Over Your Ex program a lot, and it's totally normal, and it's very important to discuss. So I wanted to share an entire episode dedicated to this with you today. So let's talk about what is anger. And Google defines anger as a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. So it is a feeling, right? And if you've been listening to the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast for a while now, you know thoughts create feelings. And if you're new here, welcome. You've just heard a very important statement. Our thoughts, the optional thoughts that we have going on in our brain, create how we feel. The quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our life. So what that means is if I'm feeling angry, I have stories, I have optional thoughts that feel like truths that are going on in my brain that are making me experience anger as a feeling in my body. Okay? So angry thoughts lead to me feeling angry. Very simple. So if you're feeling anger, we've got to look at those thoughts, right? So the next question, though, becomes, why do we experience anger after a breakup or a divorce? And the simple way to answer this question is, well, we have circumstances, we have situations that happen in the breakup. Maybe it's something your ex said, maybe it's something your ex did, that gives us default angry thought patterns, which lead us to feeling angry, which is great. This is what our brain is supposed to do. Welcome. Amazing. Thank you. Now, it would be easy for me to say that anger is a part of the grieving process. I'm sure you've probably heard that, but it's not necessarily the case. Not everyone who's grieving feels angry, which for some of you might be kind of eye-opening. There is a theory called the Kubler-Ross model, and it talks about the 5 stages of grief. So you may have heard of the different stages of grief. There's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. However, that theory was really grounded around grief that was being created for people who are terminally ill. And it suggests that these stages are a part of the coping mechanisms, again, for people who are specifically terminally ill, which I've helped hundreds of people heal from heartbreak who are not terminally ill, and many of them don't experience anger. But of course, some of us do, right? Many of us do. And what we need to remember from that is that feeling anger is okay. There's nothing wrong with you if you're angry during your breakup. And on the flip side of that is if you're not feeling angry in your breakup, there is nothing wrong with you. I doubt you're listening to this podcast episode, but if you are and you're not feeling angry, that's okay. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong or that you should be feeling angry. So if you are experiencing anger, we want to look at the stories that are creating that experience for you. Typically, it's thoughts or stories like, he or she did this to me. This is unfair. This is not okay. What he or she did is not okay. How could he or she shouldn't have, right? Now, the interesting part is, what are we supposed to do with it? What are we supposed to do about our anger? How are we supposed to manage it? And what's most interesting to me is that just because we can let go of anger, let go of those stories, doesn't mean we have to or that we should. What? Just because we can let go of anger doesn't mean that we have to or that we should. I was just coaching a client on how she feels kind of resentful and angry with her ex-husband's therapist. And this ex-husband or this therapist kind of made her out to be this person that she's really not to her ex-husband, which kind of catapulted the divorce. And she felt like she needed to let go of this anger and resentment towards this therapist, but found herself continuing to move back to this story and this feeling that created a lot of anger and animosity towards this specific person. And so I asked her, what happens if that never goes away? Like, what if we always have animosity towards this person? We have angry thoughts and feelings towards this person. Why is that a problem? And she mentioned, well, I can't move forward, which a lot of us would think, right? Like we're holding ourselves back when we're feeling angry. Right? She thought maybe I'll always play into this victim mindset. And honestly, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that just because we feel angry means that we're always going to play into a victim mindset or that we can't move forward when we're feeling angry. It is totally possible that you can feel angry or have this animosity towards someone and still choose not to support the decisions that they made or the words that they said, and not let it interfere with your progress, not let it lead you to a victim mentality. And with that being said, you can also experience 2 feelings at the same time, which I'll talk about in just a second here. But just because we can let it all go doesn't mean that we're saying, I'm okay with this behavior or it's okay that this happened. We can hold on to that and still move forward saying, this is not something that I agreed with. I'm not personally ready to let go of the animosity here right now. And I'm not going to let that hold me back. And I'm also not going to let that lead me to being in a victim mentality. It's like, I don't agree with this therapist and I'm not going to be a victim to what she said. I just don't feel the need or the desire to release. And you can let that be okay. Let that be okay. Don't make that mean something bad about yourself. That doesn't mean that you'll be this way forever or you'll have those thoughts and feelings forever. But for right now, that's okay. And I also want to take a moment because when we talked about two kind of differing emotions at the same time, I find that empowerment and anger are pretty closely aligned. I notice that anger can spur empowerment within women, or power or control, and it can help propel people into action when they've been stuck in inaction for a really long time. And I remember a Braveheart specifically who had been trying really hard to make things work with her ex, really hard, putting her all in, and that's exhausting. Maybe that's a whole other episode, but it was just one thing after another with this person. And finally he did something so big and grandiose that it made her so angry, and it spurred, like, at the same time she's feeling super, super angry, but at the same time she's also experiencing power and in control and certainty and feelings of empowerment because of thoughts like, I'm done tolerating this. This is not for me. This is a no, and it's a very clear no for me, which made her feel very certain and calm and clear and empowered and powerful and in control. And at the same time, she's angry, right? Both of those can live at the same time. She was feeling extremely empowered, which propelled her into action of leaving the relationship, staying left, and, jumping eagerly into her bigger and better life. That doesn't mean that she didn't have anger throughout that process. And I think sometimes we confuse, where certain actions are coming from certain feelings. And so I just want you to take a moment to explore, did this action come from anger, or maybe did this action come from empowerment or certainty? Okay, with all that being said, I want to give you specific steps around how to manage your anger after a breakup, okay? The first step, which when I say it is going to sound really obvious, but I'm going to remind you because I love you, let yourself be angry. Be angry. Braveheart, be so, so fucking angry. Don't make it a problem. Don't make it mean there's something wrong with you. Have a hissy fit. Have a tantrum. Be angry. Don't do anything about it. Don't try to solve for it. Don't try to fix it. Be fucking angry and allow yourself to be angry. Scream, cry, hit a pillow, do whatever. Allow yourself to be angry. The second step is moving through your anger. And when I'm saying moving through, I'm not talking about, we're not moving around it or, again, trying to fix it or manipulate it or change it. I'm saying move through it with your body. Move physically. There are so many ways to do this, and I have a lot of episodes on, processing emotions. But with anger specifically, I think the best thing you can do is physically move your body, shake, roll around on the ground, jumping jacks, running, hitting a pillow, rage, physically rage. I actually think in big cities, they have these things called rage rooms where you go and you hit and you smash things. And it's like a space made for that. Of course, be safe in this. I'm not telling you to go rage in an unresponsible way or irresponsible way. Do this responsibly, but move through it with your physical body. And then lastly, step 3 is the part where you actually do thought work or mindset work around it. But it's not until after you've allowed yourself to be angry, like truthfully allowed yourself to be angry, not like, okay, I felt angry. I've been feeling angry. I've felt it already. Like really just be like mad and angry and then moving through it with your body. Then after we've done that, we can look at, what are the thoughts that are making me feel angry? And then decide, do I want to change them? Just because you become aware of them doesn't mean that you have to change them. Just because we can change our thoughts doesn't mean we have to. Do I genuinely want to change this story right now? Because if you don't do it yet and don't make it a problem. It's not something to be done yet, and that's okay. Now, with that being said, I have found tremendous benefits to releasing anger when you are ready. When you are ready. When you are ready and you want to, release anger, the benefits that I have seen have been physically, mentally, and behaviorally, right? So physically, I feel better. I feel less tight. I feel a lightness. Physical ailments go away. I see, mental and behavioral benefits like we talked about, where I'm no longer constantly ruminating about my ex. I'm not putting a bunch of energy and effort into fake fights in my head. I don't know how many of you did that, but that is something that happens. I don't know how many times I have like a conflict with, someone out in the wild, in the real world, and I spend the rest of the day thinking about like what I could have said or what I should have said, right? Less reactive to other people. I know for myself, if I'm angry about one situation, sometimes that comes out on other people that have nothing to do with the issue. I'm also more present when I'm not angry because I'm not spending so much time in my head. I take better and more calculated moves and decisions rather than irrationally just taking action or doing something really quick, thinking it needs to be solved and done right now. So I do believe that there are great benefits to releasing angry stories when it feels like it's the right time for you. So if you do feel like it's the right time for you, you've allowed yourself to be angry, you've been angry, you've moved through it, not around it, you've identified the thoughts that are making you feel angry, that's where we get to question those ideas. Is it possible to see it a different way? Is it possible that I'm wrong about this? Not wrong in the terms of like, oh, it's totally okay that he or she did this, but is it possible that I'm wrong that it truly affects me now in this present moment? Or that is it possible that I'm wrong about what I'm making what they did mean about me, right? What is it costing me to believe this? What is the false reward that I'm getting by believing this? And who would I be without this idea? So a number of questions that I give my clients and we work through, when we're coaching together, of looking at all the different ways that we can perceive this and view this, and not in a way of, I really want to make this clear. I'm not saying getting on board with shitty behavior or accepting what they did and making that okay. That is not what I'm saying at all. When we're questioning the beliefs that make us feel angry, we're questioning what we're making those things that happened mean about us. We're questioning that part, because holding on to the anger doesn't right their wrong. It doesn't make them into an okay person. It doesn't do anything for them. Releasing that anger is all for you so that you get the benefits from it. They don't get the benefits from releasing your anger. When you release your anger, you get those benefits. And I think there's kind of like I talked about before earlier in this episode, you can totally say, hey, I don't agree with this behavior. I don't agree with what happened, but I'm no longer going to feel angry about it. And that's different to me in my mind. All right, Bravehearts, that's what I have for you today. Managing anger after a breakup doesn't have to be complicated. There's nothing wrong with you if you're feeling angry, and there's nothing wrong with you if you're not. Let yourself be angry, like literally be angry, then move physically through the anger and not around it, and identify the thoughts that make you feel angry and decide if you're actually in a place of wanting to change them right now. Keyword, right now. Because you can always revisit it later if you're not ready right now, and that's totally okay. All right, I'm proud of all of you so much. I love you to pieces, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.